Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm working on another art journal video, or art journal page. So get comfy and let's get crafty. These are the 4 weekly prompts for the Mission Inspiration Facebook group for the month of October. They are restless, trust, echoes, and masks. So I am going to take these 4 weekly words and turn them into one monthly art journal page. So check out what I do. I have printed out my words, my word inspiration, and I have a piece of mixed media paper and a whole bunch of printed papers and inked papers and roll-off papers and shipping papers, and I've torn them all into pieces. And for the idea of restless, I kind of think chaos at the same time, or kind of fidget. So I am going to take all of these pieces of torn up, like I've got a coffee filter and I've got a cello bag, I've got roll-off papers from gel printing, I've got printed rice papers and just all the things. So for my restless, I'm just adding a whole bunch of different size pieces of these torn up papers to the background of my page. I am trying to make sure that no two of the same print are laying next to each other, and that I have kind of an equal amount of all of the colors in the page. I don't know. I just grabbed. I wasn't really paying attention. I did just kind of grab what I thought I wanted next. They are overlapping. They are not all the same thickness of paper, so there is some transition. And I'm just putting them down with that Liquitex liquid medium. It's a matte medium. And I'm going to heat set this because I also want to add a layer of gesso. So I've grabbed this Liquitex white gesso, and I'm going to use a damp paintbrush, and I'm just going to put a thin layer of that gesso across all of these different papers. And that is to knock those colors and patterns into the background, but not completely eliminate them. They will be there, but not there, if that makes sense. And once I have the gesso all over the whole front of the page, I did dip that paintbrush into some water a little bit and thin it out. I dried it out. I'm using my heat gun to heat set all of that. And gesso does dry back less opaque than it is when you put it on. And then I'm going to take my trimmer and trim off all the edges. So my mixed media page is about 5.5 by 8 inches, roughly. I did finally get around to cutting down that roll or cutting a few pieces of paper off the roll of mixed media paper that I have. Once I had this dried and trimmed, I did grab my water bottle and I put a little bit of water on top of that, and I used this paper towel to kind of lift that up. I wanted to pull some of the thicker pieces of gesso or thicker layers of gesso off just a little bit. My next step is to add some color back into the background. So I grabbed this archival ink. This is Cobalt, and I'm just going to use a foam blending brush or foam blender thingies. Why can't I think of that word? Words are hard. Anyway, to put around the edge of the page, it kind of adds it that, because it's blue, it adds kind of that urethral kind of look to it. I also pulled out this Hero Arts stamp set, and I'm going to use a few of the different things, stamps in this stamp set, just to kind of put some more layers to the background. This stamp is an alphabet stamp, and I'm just going to stamp it down. I did have to clean it off. I got a little bit of gesso on there that was still wet. I had to clean off my stamp so it didn't dry and ruin the stamp. And in between each stamp, I am cleaning it off because this is archival ink. I don't want it to stay on there. I used the script stamp in a couple of places. And then in this stamp set, there are a whole bunch of clocks and gears and cogs, little round stamps. So I put them all on the stamp block at one time. And then I ink them up again with that same Cobalt archival ink, and just stamp them down, kind of sort of headed down and to the left, but not really. It doesn't go all the way down. It just kind of puts some more layers in the background of the page. I'm not super concerned about the bottom center of the page because I have an idea for that. So the next thing in the next word for our week or month is trust. And I thought about these acrobats. You really have to trust somebody to let go of the swing that you're holding on to and hope that timing is in your favor. So I cut out these, I printed them on just regular copy paper. and then trimmed around them. I did go around the edges with a Sharpie pen to make sure you couldn't see that white copy paper. And it just kind of filled in any places that I did not fussy cut very well. I'm not concerned if they're hanging off the page at all, because you get the idea, right? You see when, they fly through the air, the greatest of ease, the daring young men on the flying trapeze. Is that how the song goes? I don't know how come that came to mind, but I can't remember what day of the week it is. Anyway, I also added for trust this quote that I saw that said, "Trust but verify," which my husband all the time, that's a very military thing, trust but verify. And then I adding, adulting is hard. Trust but verify because adulting is hard. And I printed that on my label maker and with a black label tape and just added that to my art journal page. I am going to go over that with the matte medium just so that it's not shiny, and also to make sure that this stays down, because I do have a lot going on this page, and those label tapes may or may not want to stick to it. Once I had those items down and adhered and the matte medium put over the top of them, I did heat set that with my heat tool again. And then I need to figure out what I was going to do for that third word, which is echo. And when I hear echo, all I think about is that the image of sound waves radiating off something. So I grabbed this circle. This is actually an old school circle cutter. It has circles in it, or little holes in it, that go all the way up to like 5.5 inches or something. And I'm just making an unevenly spaced group of arcs, kind of representing that idea of an echo. And I pulled out a green Pitt pen. And at first I was tracing over them. I was trying to be so precise and gentle. And then I said, forget it. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It ends up looking like a green rainbow, like, I don't know, a rainbow at St. Patrick's Day. But I wanted to use green because there are some of the green from that coffee filter that I had in my background that are popping through the gesso. So the last word is masks. And I went on Google. I did a public domain search, and I found this beautiful masquerade mask. I think it is gorgeous. And so I printed and cut that out, and I'm going to add it here to the bottom of my page. Like this whole acrobat echo thing is coming out of the head of the person wearing this mask. Like it's a thought or a dream, or I don't know, something like that. I just really like the mask. And I like how the top parts of the mask are kind of leaning forward as if the mind is opening. That's where my brain went. So I did go ahead and apply that, or adhere that down rather, with that same matte medium. And I overdid the heat drawing here because I'm going to use my Pitt pens to add some shadow into that mask. I grabbed this really light brown to go around the mask itself, and then I grabbed a dark brown and a gray, and just kind of put layers in, or shadows in, the picture where they already existed, kind of emphasizing them, and then adding a shadow around the image, like a drop shadow around the image, to make it look like it's a little bit dimensional. I did not love that you could see the background through the eye holes of the mask, so I just filled them in with a black Pitt pen. And it's kind of flimsy and a little bit wet and damp still, but I had to find a pen that would write. My pen seemed to be dying, so I just signed and dated it October, because these are the word prompts for the month of October. I also printed out my picture really small this month. I was not measuring properly, but I went ahead and adhered that to the back, and then I will punch the holes in my art journal page so it's ready for my binder. And we're going to zoom in here just a little bit so you can check out that mask. I just think it's fantastic. I like how this page turned out. It's a little bit monocolor, just a pop of green in there, but I like the idea of the mask. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a couple other videos here that I think you would like as well. I've also added that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you did. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Leave me a comment down below, and I hope you have a really fabulous day.